अच्छी आ रही है, बहुत बढ़िया, टॉप क्लास। वो आप कान में क्या लगा रहे हैं, निमेटोड?
जैकेट है, जैकेट।
गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीबॉडी।
आपकी तरफ
शिष्य साहब को अलाउ कीजिए, बोल रहे हैं।
ओके ओके।
Ask the host to share screen.
Welcome to the second day of this international e-webinar, Parasites and Impact of COVID-19 Environment. We are very glad to have you all here and welcoming you again, welcoming our dignitary guests, our respected and esteemed speakers, and the curious participants. Now, coming directly to the first speaker of the session, Professor Jagbir Singh Kirti. He's from Department of Zoology, Environmental Science, Punjab University, Patiala. Sir did his PhD from Punjab University, Patiala only. Professor Kirti is a distinguished entomologist and environmentalist, working in the field of vector biology in journal and taxonomy and systematics and diversity in particular. He remained head of Department of Zoology and Environmental Science, Punjab University, Patiala, director of DST SERB School, Insect Biology from 2015 to 2018. Sir has published more than 300 research papers in national and international journals, besides 7 important books in the discipline of entomology. Sir has discovered more than 125 new species of moths and many new genera. Sir has been awarded Young Scientist Award by DST, International Award of Japanese Society of Electron Microscopy, and Kochi Medical School, Japan, National Academy of Vector and Vector-Borne Diseases for his outstanding contribution in the field of vector biology, a unique distinction of the Roll of Honor in Canada from Punjab University Alumni Association. Indian Academy of Environmental Science, IAES, has awarded him gold medal for his contribution to the cause of environment and human health in general and bioscientific contributions. Sir has Best Ode with Global Vagyanik Award in 2012 and by Global Punjab Foundation. Sir has been honored with Rackle Ribbon Medal 2012 in October at CRME Madurai. Sir has guided more than 26 research scholars and 5 more PhD scholars are still working under his supervision. So we are welcoming you, sir, and please deliver your lecture.
Thank you, but allow me to share my screen from the host side.
Thank you, sir.
They have disabled participants to screen sharing. Please allow me to share my screen.
Allowed, sir, allowed.
Still not allowed, sir.
Not allowed. Allowed, sir, allowed. Please check again.
Yeah, it's allowed now.
Okay, thank you.
So I'll be talking a little bit about how this global warming climate change is affecting us. You see, insects, they are most wonderful creatures. 2/3 of our entire animal population are arthropods and majority of them are insects. All these insects, they are experiencing a kind of little bit higher temperature. We have more than 70,000 species in India. And I tell you how they are, this kind of global warming climate change is affecting them, because they are ectothermal, they are expanding their geographical ranges. It's wonderful to see them growing, but certain effects are very bad. They are pests, they are vectors. We have just got 30 new more diseases during the last 1.5 decades. And when we talk about more pests and more vectors, our health is at stake, our food security is at stake. And when this kind of sticky weathers are there around us, sometimes there is too much glaciation, sometimes there is too much heat. So all these things, we see that increase of insect pests and vectors because of their ectothermal and because of their metamorphosis. That's what doctor has ordered for insects. And when you talk about universal increase in temperature, and we know it's happening, and climate change will have major effect on geographical distribution of these insects. Small changes can have significant effects, and low temperature are often more important than high temperature in determining distribution of insects. This is happening for long time. We are deforesting. 34 million trees are cut from Amazons every year. That means a country size of Italy goes away. Global warming has already resulted in earlier infestations of many insect pests. And you see the recent examples, we never had chikungunya in Punjab, but now 2016 was the first year when we had a great encounter with chikungunya, and there were hundreds and hundreds of cases. So insect metabolism, as I already said, it is temperature dependent, and that's lengthening of the breeding seasons. As more and more new diseases and pandemic is in front of you, we are suffering from COVID-19 for the last 10 months. So all these animal pathogens identified by the Wildlife Conservation Society, they include the human pathogenicity, particularly bird flu, cholera, Ebola, plague, Lyme, and many more diseases. And estimated risk of diarrhea is also predicted to be 10% higher than it's going to be up to 2030. Malaria is similarly expected to increase, and already it's claiming a life every 30 seconds. So that means all this is happening, and we are deforesting everywhere. All 12 mega biodiverse countries of the world, they are facing this deforestation. Then plus Amazons were burning. Now it was Australia was burning, and now California was burning. All these forests, they continuously burn. New invasive insect species, global warming may also change flowering times in temperature region, leading to ecological consequences such as introduction of new insect pests and by attaining pest status by non-insect pests. New diseases associated with biological evasions, they are also very common. So all this is happening, and human health is also at stake. Insect host plant interactions, they will change in response to the effects of carbon dioxide on nutritional quality and secondary metabolites of the insect pest. Increased level of carbon dioxide will enhance plant growth, but may increase the damage caused by some phytophagous insects. And this is happening, and by the experiments, scientists have shown it. And then re-emergence of old pests and vectors, that's happening. We all know that when the vectors come with the vengeance, and a lot of diseases, they also come. Recent examples are, dengue and dengue hemorrhagic fever, Ebola, and Nipah virus just struck us last year. A very important implication of climate change with regard to insect pests is sometimes too much heat, sometimes too much rain. And all these 10 years, which we just had the last decade, and after that 211, 13, 15, and 19, they have proved to be very hottest years. And where this loss is occurring, Africa, Southeast Asia, South America, Indonesia has lost 72% of its original forest. Brazil has already lost 30% of its tropical rainforest. So all these happenings are due to environment. In India, it is predicted that physical impact of climate change will have an increase of 2 to 4 degrees Celsius. All of us, we know it. A decrease in the number of rainy days is happening continuously for the last many years. Increase in frequency and intensity of cyclonic storms is common. We are facing so many tsunamis and other storms every year. You see, this is the condition of Punjab. Forest cover has gone very down. And similarly in India, it has gone down. North and northeastern belt, 40 million hectares of land is flood prone. Intensification of Indian monsoon is happening. And we are going to face this kind of situation in food security due to insect pests. And similarly, because as we are coming more closer to the wildlife, we are doing a lot of fragmentation, more vectors and more diseases. They are there. Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Orissa, and Uttar Pradesh. Frequent droughts have been witnessed, and they will continue to be there, and that will have effect on our food. Our glaciers are melting. 449 icy square kilometers have already gone. 466 glaciers, they are melting down. And this is happening. Increase of carbon dioxide and is expected to increase at least 1,200% during this century. And that's what happening around us. And all this is affecting insect world, and mostly insect vectors and pests. And this is because most of the moths, they are pollution indicators. These things are also affected. Migratory arrival times and energetic requirements, they are changing. Bird predator relationships are changing. Bird predations rate versus larval development. Larval development rate over winter survival, and similarly leaf maturation rate and nutrient content. All this is being changed because of the conditions. Insects, as I already said, they're ectothermic and sensitive to precipitation. Effects can be direct through the influence of climatic factors on insect physiology and behavior, or indirectly mediated by host plants, competitions, or natural. Overwintering, as egg provides superior synchrony between egg hatch and bud beak. Exploiting early season foliage exposes larvae to risk of hatching before food is available. Mitigation, ability to feed on less suitable foliage, ability to disperse as larvae. So all these things are happening. The insects, maybe they are pests, maybe they are vectors, they are increasing in large numbers. When we talk about global climate increase over the next century, some models suggest north temperature trees will have to disperse about 160 to 640 kilometers northward. So this is all because most of the things happening due to humans also, environment degradation also, and extension. Number one is extension of geographical range of insects, pests, and vectors. Increased overwintering and rapid population growth. They are increasing in large numbers, and they are going towards the hills. Many of the species, mosquito species, which I never discovered from particularly Shimla, Dalhousie, and other areas, now I have been collecting those mosquito species from those areas. Changes in the insect host plant interactions, increased risk of invasion by migrant. Am I clear, sir? मेरी आवाज आ रही है ना? Hello.
Yes, sir. Very clear. Very clear.
Increased risk of invasion of migrant pests and vectors also, impact on arthropod diversity. Changes in synchrony, as I said, introduction of alternative hosts, reduced effectiveness, and we have become, as I was saying, really global. And due to this, we have been facing all these species which were never there. They are increasing. Invasions, biological invasions are there, and we are facing the kind of heat as far as various diseases. Some of the examples I'll show you that how this rapid population growth is happening. This is a European great fly moth, and it has already, made everything gone because they are serious pests and they are increasing in large in numbers. This species I have noted down during my 30-40 years career. 34 years I am there, and I have noted it from Mizoram, Nagaland to Punjab. This is going to be a very serious species in the times to come, like Helicorp armigera. And maybe as that became uncontrollable, it will also become uncontrollable. Similarly, as I said, extension of geographical range of insect pests, same as mosquitoes also, you'll find that how this is in Japan, how this species was only available in one region, but ultimately expanded to the whole country. Similar examples are there for many more species. Now overwintering, mostly malaria mosquitoes, they are evading, as I told you, higher altitude. But during my recent experience, I have witnessed, I have collected all these species from foothills or maybe from plains, but now I'm going to collect, I'm collecting it already from Shimla, Dalhousie, and other areas. So some mosquito-borne diseases in India, this is a chart you can see how the filaria endemic happens, how Japanese encephalitis happening. Already Japanese encephalitis has made its inroads in Haryana. 6 kids died few years back in Fatehgarh Sahib. They were very scattered cases, but it is increasing now towards northwest India also. The effects of climate change on mosquito population is enormous and highly, because they're highly responsive to changes in climate, and increased temperature is associated with increased abundance, assuming there are sufficient number of water filled sites. And you see this paddy ecosystem is responsible for Japanese encephalitis because most of the culex species, they are breeding in the water. And when we have millions and million hectares of paddy crop around us, so mosquitoes, they change behavior, adapting to new breeding habitats. Example is earlier Anopheles stephensi used to be in wells, but now it has gone to the top floor of every house. Maybe it's Delhi, maybe it's Chennai. So it has become malaria, urban malaria mosquito. Intense summer rainfall resulting in localized flooding could also increase the abundance of floodwater species, rises in the sea level, and increased storm surges, particularly in the East Coast, could eliminate some mosquito sites for, because of salt marshes. Kala Azar is vector-borne disease. It's also increasing. Sandfly is responsible for that. Indian Kala Azar has a unique epidemiological feature. And all these have faced increase. These are some of the cases, Kala Azar cases and deaths in the country since 2017. It's showing upward trend. Similarly, tick-borne diseases, they are coming up. Tick-borne diseases or illness transmitted by ticks, and you have babiosis, you have Lyme disease, you have relapsing fever, you have Rocky Mountain fever. All these vector-borne diseases, as I said, during the last 1.5 decades. When we had Nipah virus last time in Kerala, all of us, when we were asked, we said, okay, we have not to do more environment degradation. Main reason is we are doing so much deforestation and environment degradation, coming close to wildlife species. That's the reason that we are having this pandemic, that how the bats are responsible. Even the Nipah virus case in Kerala, it came out to be because of bats. Climate change may increase tick numbers and cases of tick-borne diseases. Milder winter temperatures in particular have important effects on tick distribution. Milder winter and ticks actively feed and continue their cycles. So this is all these vector-borne diseases are happening, effect on speciation during the 100 and 1,000 years, million of years, providing between new species per annum, and nearly 99.9% of the species that ever existed have become extinct. This is a particular century where we'll be losing 1 million species out of 1.75 million, which we know. That means science says we have 8.7 million, whereas religion and our Hindu religion and Sikh religion say it is 8.4 million. So we'll be losing 1 million species. Imagine what will happen. So it's all changing the kind of equilibrium we have. So changes in the biodiversity and community composition. And that's why when more and more pests and more vectors are coming, humans are facing this heat. Global warming means more pests, more vectors. And this is one of the examples from Europe, you see, and we recently had our locust attack a few months back, and that already those populations are there. Populations of insects like mosquitoes and beetles, they are growing much faster because of the warmer, wetter weather. And if climate change continues to be this way, these species could take over certain ecological regions and will face more problems. Climate change poses a threat to the control of pest and disease invasions. Climate factors that aid in pest and disease invasions are mostly temperature related and include increasing average temperature. So this is continuously happening, and ultimately it's going to have effect on our food security. Farmers are already agitating because of some other reasons, but in the times to come, there'll be too much drought, too much floods, and all these things are going to affect us. Global warming and climate change will have serious consequences on diversity and abundance of arthropods in general and insects in particular, and the extent of loss due to insect pest and diseases will be, human health will be at stake. So that's the triangle, it. Yesterday also ma'am talked about that, Madam Neelma. So because it's very less time, 20 minutes, I think, only 3 minutes left. So mosquito-borne diseases and vector-borne diseases transmitted to humans, they are on increase. As I said, for the first time in the history, I saw 7,000 cases few years back in Tamil Nadu. I was there when I received that Rackle Rubin Award. Now it was so many cases in Patiala and around it. Probably all these diseases. Entomologists and plant breeders, they have experience.
जो screen है,
for resistance to target species. So next 100 years, because as I already said, okay, most of the extinctions, sixth largest extinction is going on. So we'll be suffering more and more. And I tell you that these diseases will continuously stuck us. We have to increase our forest cover until and unless we do something for environment degradation. Every citizen has to be, environmentalist. Everybody has to think about environment. If we do not bother about the environment, we're continuously will be facing these pests and vectors and more diseases as it is happening. Not only 30, many other will come. So that's what my time. And I think, thank you very much, Malhotra sir, giving me this opportunity. And thank you very much.
Wonderful. Wonderful, Dr. Jagbi. Professor Saab, we heard a lot about your speeches and everything, but today we had the glimpse of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
20 minutes में खत्म कर दिया, sir.
My pleasure, sir. You are welcome.
Thank
Dr.
you so
Jagbir,
much. Thank you for
heartiest congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Heartiest congratulations for such an enriching talk. We really feel privileged to be here with you. Thank you so much.
God bless. Thank you.
I would like to request Dr. Sushil sir to present a bouquet.
Is he here? Sushil?
He is here. Hope he would be.
तो हम तो पैरास्टोलॉजी में इंसेक्ट्स के थ्रू ही आ सकते थे सर, वेक्टर्स के थ्रू ही आ सकते थे. So I thought that this will fit in. That's why I talked about vectors then.
You justify. This is the magic. Jagbir speaking.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please proceed.
Okay, sir. Right. I think Sushil sir is not here. So coming up to our next speaker of the day, Professor Vinod K. Mathu. He is Emeritus UGC Fellow, Department of Biosciences, Himachal Pradesh University, Shimla. Sir has research experience of more than 33 years and has experience of administration for ex-chairman, former director, former chairman, ex-coordinator, science, senior vice president, Association of Entomologists, international expert on beekeeping and biodiversity. Sir has been awarded and honored for Lifetime Achievement Award in December 2015. And sir also has other prominent award like ZSI Award, Bharat Excellence Award, International Glory Award, Global Excellence Award, Human Excellence Award, IAES Award, ICRT, CCRB, Gold Medal, etc. Sir has been invited as chief guest of honor, keynote plenary invited speaker during many national and international conferences. Talking about the academic experience, Sir has been president, convener, and executive member of many of the academics and associations as like Asian Apiculture Association, Japan, HP State Biodiversity Board, Government of HP, International Union of Study of Social Sciences, IUSSI, the Netherlands, Haryana Kisan Ayog, Government of Haryana, High-Powered Committee of Climate Change International Task Force on Beekeeping Development in Asia, Renuka Development Board, Ministry of Environment and Forest, New Delhi, Governing Body HP, STEP, Himachal Pradesh University, Shimla. Sir has presently, sir is active member of New York Academy of Sciences, USA. He is project consultant at CARE International, New Delhi, ICFRE, Dehradun, Uttarakhand, advisor, Research Board of America, Biographical Institute. Sir has guided more than 25 PhD and more than 47 MPhil students and has more than 7 books, 27 compendia and thematic papers or monographs and more than 264 research publications till date in the esteemed national and international journals. So we are welcoming here Professor Vinod K. Mathu to deliver his lecture. Please, sir.
Thank you, Madam Rita. Good morning, friends. Today I am going to talk. My talk is on COVID-19, faunal diversity and human health. I am mainly talking about the faunal diversity. I am thankful to Professor Sandeep Malhotra for inviting me for this international webinar. Now, during the past 10 months, we are going through COVID crisis. I say crisis. And what we have learned, we have both positive and negative effects. This COVID crisis has justified the Darwin theory of natural selection. It has forced the scientists and environmentalists to study nature in more depth. A lot of environmental cleanliness was done especially during the lockdown period. More focus was now given on health sectors. More emphasis has come on naturopathy, yoga, meditation, etc. There is an increase in positive attitude of people. Their patience has increased, their health consciousness has increased. More stress has come on online education. Moreover, dignity of labor in India has increased, as is in European countries. Then working of government and private hospitals also exposed. They are not working so properly now. They are working more better way. Then there is decrease in bad habits like smoking, drinking, etc. And it is a big alert for future that such problems will come in future also. But on the other hand, there is a high mortality. Yesterday we crossed 1 crore infection level, although the active cases are less, but many people every day they are living this heavenly abode. That is very sad state of affairs. Then there is a negative impact on faunal, floral and microbial diversity. Problems of pest, predator and pathogens have enhanced. There is a heavy loss to agriculture, horticulture, animal husbandry, fishery, etc. The problem of farmers and laborers increased due to this COVID. Heavy loss to the many industries that bio-based also. Then unemployment problem increased. Loss to academic institutions, especially schools, colleges, and universities. Then many loopholes in the health sector exposed. Their health problem enhanced because already we were facing many problems like malaria, TB, swine flu, chikungunya, AIDS, dengue, etc. But they have now increased. But what now we have? Now we have more than 1,200 labs established in the country. Now government has given Mask of India campaign. Jab tak dawai nahi, tab tak dhilai nahi. So many slogans are given. 2 zero surveys have been conducted. And one interesting fact is that men were more prone to COVID than women. It was 70% in men and 30% in women. And now main focus is on the vaccines. 8 vaccines are on the way in India and 3 are indigenous, and most likely co-vaccine is ongoing on trials. I have collected data from September to December. This is my hobby also. So I will not go in details. What was in September, October, November, and December? Total cases in September were only 51 lakh. Now, yesterday we have crossed 1 crore. And although active cases are only 3.07 lakh, and recovery rate has increased from 78.6% to 95.46%, which is very good. And our total deaths casualties are 1.45 lakh. Still, we are number 2 in the world, and our 5 states, Maharashtra, Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, they are contributing for 65% of the total COVIDs. And total infection per 24 hours has decreased. It is from 98,000 in September to now it is just 25,000 in December. So that's a good point on this. We always say we are a member of God's family. That is Vasudevaya Kutumbakam. Scientifically speaking, it is biodiversity, which means the variety of life on the earth, whether it is genetic diversity, species diversity, or ecosystem diversity. It is all based upon animals, plants, and microbes, which are playing a very important role in forests, oceans, grassland, rivers, etc. Friends, total estimated species are 5 to 30 million, and number of described species are more than 1.77 million. It has taken 3.5 billion years for biodiversity to evolve, but we are rapidly destroying it. In fact, we say Lord Krishna was the first known environmentalist who asked people not to worship him, but to worship mountains, rivers, plants, etc., just to save the diversity. And otherwise also, we all love the nature. Everybody now loves the fragrance of flowers, beautiful butterflies, birds, and rivers and mountains. Friends, we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, but we borrow it from our children. Biodiversity, we know, is useful in food, agriculture, medicine, industry. Approximately 80,000 plants are of immense value to us. Even today, 10 to 20 species, they provide 20 to 90% of the food requirements of the food world. 60 to 70% of modern medicines, particularly Ayurvedic, are derived from natural products. Besides giving fuel, fodder, clothing, shelter, etc. Dear friends, nature has provided us with free lunch, but only if we have to control our appetite, which COVID has also told us. Biodiversity has also have aesthetic and recreational values. Indirectly, they are helping in pollination, which is one of my favorite fields, which I am not talking today. Transpiration, climate regulation, water management, waste treatment, pest control, etc. So conservation and sustainable use of biodiversity is fundamental to ecological sustainable development. Friends, we only know the worth of water till the well is dry. If we speak about India, India is one of the 18 recognized mega biodiversity countries with about 8% of the total global biodiversity and a repository of more than 1 million insect species and 3 million plant species. We are among the 18 biodiversity hotspots of the world. 4 are in India, Eastern Himalaya, Western Ghats, Indo-Myanmar landscape, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. And this country also has extensive network of protected areas covering about 4.76% of total geographic area. We have 39 tiger reserves, 27 elephant reserves, 553 wildlife sanctuaries. So much is there. Even then, we say that we are poor people living in a rich country. We are rich in resources, in biodiversity, but we are poor otherwise economically. The loss of biodiversity is a very serious matter. It is of significant value for scientists, policymakers, because IUCN has estimated that only half of the present species will survive by 22nd century. Therefore, 2011 to 2020 was declared as the decade of biodiversity, and it has been extended as a super biodiversity year this time, with major focus on conservation, sustainable utilization, and sharing of benefits accruing out of the bioresources. However, during this COVID, otherwise also we are facing a major challenge to biodiversity environment. Major is the changing land use practices through habitat loss, mechanical destruction, fire, overgrazing, recreation, etc. We have a dog problem everywhere, monkey problem in Shimla, wild animals coming on the streets, then alteration in ecosystem composition, more desertification, crop pattern changes, wetland problem, deforestation, etc., etc. Then there is problem of introduction of exotic species, whether they are plant species like Congress grass or exotic fishes or exotic honeybees. Then there is problem of pesticidal toxicity. People are not taking now tomato and milk because of this problem. I cannot discuss there in details. Then environmental problems, environmental pollution, air, water, noise pollution, they are all affecting and they have augmented due to this COVID. Then melting of glaciers is a very serious problem. Dr. Jagveer discussed the climate change. Then malnutrition, about 43 to 45% of our population is suffering from malnutrition, and it has been attributed by government itself. Then over-exploitation of resources. Whatever we may say that we are going sustainability, but we are over-exploiting the bioresources, whether they are forest, they are aquaculture, apiculture, land culture, dairy farming. Then there is problem of pest, predator, and diseases. Recently, this year, we had a locust problem, which was in different parts of the country, Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, etc. So we have a number of diseases like AIDS, dengue, chikungunya, cancer, malaria, which are affecting the human health. And moreover, global climate change, we are seeing in Himachal Pradesh also, apple production has been affected by this global change because of timberline is changing. Then there is problem of bioterrorism or biowar. Some say COVID-19 is also a result of that, but all not agree on it. Then digital threat. We are living in a digital world. Recently, government banned 59 Chinese apps, and later on 40 more were banned. Moreover, we have a poor health facilities problem, which is now increasing. Then population explosion. We have to control population because everything we achieve is null and nullified by the population increase. Then most importantly, the bioethics. We are forgetting the bioethics, and then less literacy. So friends, we cannot command nature except by obeying her. That's why father of nature, our father of nature, Mahatma Gandhi rightly said Let's be the change we want to see in the world. One, there are challenges, there are threats, there are opportunities also. Friends, we are now having more opportunity in the post-COVID world. Government has already given the slogan for vocal for local and Atmanirbhar Bharat. We will be having better options in food sector, in ecotourism, medicinal aromatic plants. They are catching up. Health sector, then we will having better education system, defense sector, nuclear technology, biofuels, it is burning field, organic farming. Everybody is focusing on organic farming. Bhutan has already become Himachal is also on the way. Digital world. Now we have a number of startups, stand-ups, and make in India and made for India. So many these things are coming up, and we are working also on women empowerment. Thus, friends, we have to work hard to achieve our goals and targets because we cannot leave polluted air, water, land for future generations. That's why Gandhiji has always said we have to make a balance between need and greed. Now, there are some of the issues which are faced by the faunal diversity and biodiversity. We have to develop a knowledge base on faunal resources in terms of diversity, distribution, relative abundance, species richness, molecular characterization, etc., which ZSI and BSI are already doing. Then monitoring the decline of wild and domesticated bioresources. This is a very serious problem with respect to all the animals. Then competition of exotic with local species. We have found this in case of honeybees also. There is a lot of competition in other animals also. Then assessing the socio-economic value of bioresources. Socio-economic is very important because we say sustainable development, environment, economy, and all the factors, they contribute to socio-economics is very important. We have to contribute everything in economic values because due to COVID, we have a lot of economic loss. Then to identify, document, and disseminate the innovative technologies. This is very, very important for youngsters because this lecture was meant for youngsters only to identify, document, and disseminate the innovative technology and ITK practices. Indigenous technology knowledge. There are many farmers, many fruit growers which are having very good knowledge, but they have no scientific base. We have to give them the scientific base. Our Prime Minister, late Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri said, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. Then Atalji said, Jai Vigyan. And now Modi ji has added Jai Anusandhan. So we have to work on these. Then creating awareness among farmers, fruit growers, and extension workers about the role of different bioresources in our nature. Capacity building and awareness raising. This is very, very important. Whether we are working at school level, we are working at college level, we are working at university level, we have to create the awareness and capacity building through different ways. Now, there are some of the strategies which we have to adopt in future. First is main habitat conservation, whether it is with any animal species, whether it is a leopard, whether it is a dog, whether it is a monkey, everywhere, habitat conservation has to be done. Then we have to discourage excessive and indiscriminate use of pesticides. Farmers are not aware about the use of pesticide. They are using cheap pesticide and in excessive quantities because they are not so elite in this country. So excessive and indiscriminate use of pesticide has to be discouraged. Then there is a pesticidal application during the blooming period in many parts of the country, which we have to discourage. When I was the chairman of Haryana Kisan Ayog, we prepared a detailed report for Haryana how to increase the production. Then promoting organic farming. Organic farming is becoming very important. Then IPM program. We have to focus on IPM program. Then we have to adopt the pollinator-friendly management practices, awareness raising, and manage crop pollination. It is very important concept which was adopted in European countries. Now it has come to India also, and Himachal was the first state to adopt this managed crop pollination. Now other Himalayan states are also following it, and then strengthening the R&D system. We have to strengthen the R&D system beside the extension system. So this is all which we need. And here some question come to my mind for youngsters. Why nobody could get Nobel Prize in India after C.V. Raman in science only? Although Rabindranath Tagore, Khurana ji, Amrita Sen, Satyarthi, they got in other fields, but not in science. We have to think all this. We are going to beat China in population soon, but not in other fields. We have to progress more. Why we do not figure among the top 100 institutions of the world? This is a matter of brainstorming. Why we are not using our basic knowledge? As yesterday Dr. Sopti also said that we are rich. We in Vedic knowledge, we have to club the Vedic knowledge with the modern knowledge. Why we are not following bioethics? This is most important. We are not following bioethics. Bioethics has to be followed. And are we really working for women empowerment? My daughter is working on this as a startup in Bangalore. She's always telling me, Papa, we are not really working for women empowerment, although we are saying so. And we are really working for conservation of environment and sustainability. We have to think from bottom of our heart. We are always saying sustainable development, but we are not working in right direction. We have to be there. And are really be happy. Bhutan is more happier than Indians. Why? Happiness index has to be increased. So these are some of the questions which thoughts came to my mind. So my advice or my message to youngsters is, please try to prove something different from others. Try to excel in your field. Follow human values and try to be innovative. Think out of the box and think about the post-COVID world, how it will be. Thank you very much for patient hearing.
Thank you so much, sir, for your deep and insightful lecture.
Hello.
I think we should open it up for question answer session.
Yes, sir.
On both the speakers, Professor Jagbir is also here, and I think Professor Mattu will also be ready for the answers.
So there are a few questions posted for you.
Please read out. Somebody is speaking.
Yeah, I'm there, sir. I'm Dr. Neelam Mattu.
जी नीलम जी पूछिए आप सवाल.
Hi, sir. Sir, first heartiest congratulations to Dr. Jagbir as well as Professor Mattu for such enriching lectures. So one thing I would like to add here, as Professor Sopti also told yesterday, that our Vedic knowledge is very significant, especially in this pandemic period. So let's chant Shanti Mantra, which we are supposed to chant thrice a day. To bring about the peace for our families and for the prosperity of the world. Om Deo Shanti, Antariksham Shanti, Prithvi Shanti, Rapa Shanti, Aushadaya Shanti, Vanaspataya Shanti, Brahma Shanti, Vishwadeva Shanti, Reva Shanti, Revi Shanti. Let peace be at heavens, let peace be at sky, let waters be at peace, let our flora and fauna be at peace, let humanity be at peace. Let peace be to all of the human beings. And as Dr. Jagbir said, that it is our own duty to be environmentalists. So it's very well said that Sarlacha Dvam Samvada Dvam Samho Manasi Janatam Deva Bhagam Yatha Purvai Sanjananam Upasite. That is, let's walk together, let's talk together, let's think together, let's decide together. And together we can bring about the change which we want to see in the world. So friends, it is our own duty to make this planet a better place to live. Thank you so much.
आवाज आई थी?
Richard, questions?
Dr.
Did you
Sudhir, could
unmute
you hear me
yourself?
or not?
Actually, I'm not able to see the questions.
Anybody who is willing to ask the question from the first two speakers, Professor Jagbir and Professor Mattu?
मेरी आवाज आई इसमें? आवाज आई? वो तो अनम्यूट ही रह गया मेरा.
आवाज तो आई.
मेरे बोलने से आई होगी.
Can you proceed with the next speaker? You do not have anything.
This is Mattu, you were audible. It was, we heard everything. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Speakers, na?
Sir, people understand everything. No
Okay.
question.
We are grateful to Professor Malhotra for giving us a invitation for this international webinar, and his smile is always mesmerizing. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, senior.
So, coming to the next speaker of the day, Professor Amjad.
Ma'am, I would like to share something, ma'am. It's like
Please
I'm
identify
attached
yourself.
to.
Please identify
Shall I say?
yourself.
Shall I say just one thing I would like to mention?
आप कौन बोल रही हैं नाम तो
Seema
बताओ.
Pant, Seema Pant.
हाँ, please continue.
So it's like the chanting and mantras that really help. So I am attached to Buddhism, that is Bharat Soka Gakkai. So the first thing that we chant is for the environment. Any tragedy, anything that is taking place around us. So if people are happy and healthy, so then only happiness will come to all of us. So mental health, physical health, and chanting is like Namyo Horenge Kyo. So I just wanted to share that she's
Thank you.
right in saying that prayers really help.
Thank you so much.
Hello, Dr. Seema.
Yes.
I would like to add here that I also do this chanting, and
Oh,
almost the
wow.
whole day I'm into this, and really it
Wow.
gives so much of peace. It
I'm
really
so
gives,
happy, ma'am.
really. Yeah, thank
You
you so
can
much.
see all these VCs kept over here.
Okay.
Thank
All
you so
these,
much.
and
Yeah.
I will,
We are
you know,
overshooting
listen with
time, please.
goodness.
We are
Okay,
overshooting
sorry.
time, please. Let's come down to parasitology.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
okay.
So progressing ahead, I would like to invite Professor Amjad Chishti. Professor Chishti has been a distinguished parasitologist with a glorious past in the academics and research. He has carved his own niche to make a significant contribution highlighting disease-causing helminths and cold stream fishes that affected the economy of Kashmir Himalayas. Sir has chaired the department as well as contributed to its upbringing under his chairmanship of UGC SAP project, and the instrumentation he gathered during his period would be remembered for long to count for the development in the careers of the Kashmiri youth. As a head of the research center at University of Kashmir, the research reached to the pinnacle of parasitology research. So I would like, sir, please deliver your lecture.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Good
you,
morning to everybody. I'm delighted to be here with my co-scientists. I'm highly grateful to Professor Sandeep Kumar for inviting me to this lecture. Although this is not my true subject, what I am going to speak about, because throughout my life and career, I have been working with the parasites, true parasites, and the parasitology. Am I audible?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Please bear with me because we are working with 2G connection. So if sometimes it is break, please tell me.
It's better than 4G.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you very much for your appreciation.
Such a smart voice.
It is because of the appreciation of Professor Sandeep Malhotra, whom I have visited several times with regard to many things. Because they were also having this other programs, and then he has been holding these conferences always, international, national, everything, and he's omnipresent everywhere. That's why I said yesterday that I cannot compete him anywhere in his field. But I will try. This is since my research, as I told you, my research field has been the parasites of human being, the parasites of the fishes, all the animals types, their life cycle, their histology, histopathology, and everything. So by virtue of that, we have produced many PhDs, which has gone now countless, and I think that because of our publications, they have all got appointments everywhere, and none of them is idling. So that's why I am telling that we have to do some quality work throughout our life whenever we are working, so that our students come up to our expectations and they go. Sorry for this long introduction. Now I wanted to say that I have completed my term at the University of Kashmir. That's why you say that I am now adjunct professor at the School of Life Sciences, School of Biosciences, Central University of Kashmir. Now they have inducted me there, so I'm happy there also. But growing old now, My work is limited. Research becomes limited naturally. And today, what we are going to discuss is about this what you call as COVID-19. And I think Professor Professor Gupta, Nilma Gupta, has made it easy yesterday because she spoke everything about it, and I was delighted to listen to her about this what she spoke, and I got really enlightened by that also. And so I cannot add to that, but it will be gramophone record of the same, because we are the same, which is not our research. Whatever we are going to present is actually the publications which have come out from the December 2019 till date, and we are going to share that. So please bear with me and don't catcall me that it is not your research. Thank you very much. Now, this COVID actually has, as you may call it, COVID-19 or SARS second, whatever it is, it has not spared anybody in the world. It has reached US, it has reached the UK, it has reached the European countries, and it has taken a toll throughout the globe. And you see, if we see the cases, I was saying the recent cases about India, the total 10 million are suffering, recovered are 9.5, and deaths 145,000 deaths have been there. And globally, we see that 75.5 million cases are settled there, and we see 1.67 million deaths have occurred so far due to this disastrous virus. And if we talk about it, what is the parasitological perspective of this disease, of this virus? And then we see that we have to take also coincidence, whether it is coincidence or it is well designed, how it has come up. And we have to discuss about the new emerging parasitic diseases, because that is a major concern for global health. I was just now listening to Professor Jagbir Singh, who spoke about, because it is a great concern of health because of these environmental changes. And then the pandemic, about this, what is the parasitological perspective of this pandemic, and the imbalance in biodiversity and host parasitic relationship, and the climate impacts what are there. We have to also discuss impacts of parasitic infection on severity of this COVID-19, whether there are negative impacts or the positive impacts. You might have observed yourself. Then we see a bit about the control measures and future lessons. Are we ready to face all these things? So now, as we know that it belongs to the Coronaviridae family and order Nidovirales. The virus, it has a single RNA genome in the form of a single-stranded RNA, that is with a positive polarity. It is a single strand. The RNA genome is packed inside a helical capsid formed by the protein, nucleic capsid, and surrounded by an envelope where at least 3 structural proteins exist. And the membrane protein, the envelope protein, which involves the assembly of the virus, and the spike protein, which involves that acts as the entry of the virus into the host cell. These structural proteins form the spikes on the surface of the virus, giving it the appearance of the crown. So it is named as coronavirus. Since the emergence of this in December 2019, some say that it has come from the seafood, what has been put in the market of the city of Wuhan, city of China, and declared but it was declared later as a public health emergency by the WHO, and because it spread rapidly, throughout the world. It is, of course, an infectious disease caused by severe acute respiration syndrome. And it is because of SARS-2 was SARS first was also known earlier, 2012, I think, and which has it is compatible to that. Genomic analysis has revealed that SARS-CoV-2 is a phylogenetically associated with that SARS virus, and bats could be the possible primary source of this infection. Now, this is actually the infection and the parasitic disease are interconnected. Those caused by viruses such as COVID-19 strongly interfere with our immune system, at least via what is called as the cytokine storm. Which creates ideal conditions for other co-infections caused by fungi, protozoans, and the helminths to appear. It was in, I think, in 1960 that with the invention of the electron microscope, we have seen that these viruses are found in the microparasites like Plasmodium and other microparasites. That time also it was described. So because these are small, so small that they can enter any animal. So was the case with our microparasites like Plasmodium, others, and Trypanosoma and Crozia, Trypanosoma gondii. SARS-CoV, it is an intracellular pathogen that interacts with the receptors located on the surface of the mammalian cells, and enters into the cells through one of the mechanisms known as the endocytosis, like prokaryotic and the eukaryotic microparasites. So we have seen in Trypanosoma cruzi, Trypanosoma gondii, whatever is the pathological condition, pathological situation, how they enter into the cell, what is their mechanism, that is followed by these viruses also. And these are released outside the cell, usually through the exocytosis, what has been observed, and have therefore the similar epidemiology as those of the microparasites, what we have seen so far. And the interaction with the host cells is the same. So what's our interest in the parasitology is that it shows all features now host-parasite interaction and warrants parasitological and ecological and immunological understanding. We have so many parasites are known now. And then we see that what is the host-parasite relationship between these parasites and this present virus. And so whether it's a coincidence or well-designed, that as we go to the literature, we see emergent infectious diseases are those diseases that have that are newly appeared, then or have existed in the past but are now increasing because of the geographical disturbances or geographical changes. And emerging infectious diseases can be defined as an infectious disease whose coincidence is increasing following its first introduction into the new host population. So it is increasing. So we can, it is emerging disease. If we have to see these emerging diseases, because it comes under these diseases, these emerging virus diseases. So these have been described over the past 2 decades. There have been mounting interest in the increasing number of these viruses, maybe in the humans or the wildlife, livestock, etc. And the importantly, capacity to identify and control emerging diseases remains limited in poor regions, and so it is still limited even to in the higher fields, we should say developed countries also, and the studies are going on. May take some time, may take in a year or so, till these are got under control. And we see that emerging diseases, these are what is the reason behind it? Because of we are go on increasing our this animal diversity, and we have seen that animal husbandry is increasing, agriculture is increasing, urbanization is increasing, and people are shifting from villages to the urban and the cities. And so there's increased risk in the human populations because of this herd immunity. They are what we call this is they come to the different populations from one population size to they come to another population. So there is a increased proximity to animals also, which also increases the risk of these emerging diseases, which have been found sometimes in animals, but are now carried to the human beings. So zoonotics is comes into question here. It is an important field of our zoology, parasitology. So we have to bother about that. Also, how it is come to our human welfare in between. And it has been earlier also described about the emerging diseases. What is the concern of these? Because the SARS, E. coli, and then we have seen many diseases like enterovirus is there, Ebola is there, and then so many diseases have come up. How these have come to different locations where these were not found. These were not found because of the people are go on traveling to one country to another country, go on carrying these. Are we the animal shift is there? We have seen in our state also. There are while we were observing the parasitism in sheep, and we could see that many citrongelloides or some other parasites which were not hydatid disease has become so common in among these animals. We could see that at one time there was 20% of the sheep were suffering from hydatid disease, and this was this was brought into the notice of the government, and there are the control measures were taken through the anti-helminthics, and some control and has been brought in. These are things, but at the same time, this hydatid disease can be carried to the human beings, and which is disastrous for the because it lodges either in the diaphragm or in the lungs or in the liver. So one has to eat it, and it is to, taken out out of the incision also operation only. So one has to be operated upon for this. So emerging diseases now concern. So what is the recent concern? What Professor Jagmeet Singh said, that it is the environmental changes are there, climatic changes are there, pollution, exploitation. We have been using antibiotics, and these are the vectors are there, and vector proliferation is there, and these have become resistant also. These vectors have become resistant to our what we have been using to eliminate them. And mainly this is the because of the change in environment, because of the atmosphere is warming up. Next, we see that there have been changes, and these changes now COVID this has taught us many lessons. There are certain positive and negative impacts of this. As we have seen that we have undergone these lockdowns, and there is the travel ban was here. By virtue of that, we could see that it could reduce the fossil fuel consumption, reduce the consumption of waste disposal, reduce the transport and industrial activities. It could reduce the pressure in tourist destinations. So greenhouse gases got emission got reduced to a greater extent, which was creating problem all over the world. And that's we are the reduction. This has reduced the pollution and improved the water quality. As we see now, Ganges at certain places has become worth drinking also, as has been reported by many scientists. It is not that's not my work, and what has been reported. Similarly, in Himachal, people have reported about the water quality, which has improved a lot. But at the same time, we see the hazards of this pandemic is that the BPs what we are using in the hospital, these hamper the recycling activity because these have dumped up, and then there are the increase in medical waste has come, which may cause hazardous effects on the health. And then we see the increasing municipal waste is there. We got throwing these, we are using these PPs and throwing them out also. We have seen on the people are throwing on the roads also, and it becomes very difficult for the municipalities also to contain it. So lessons are done. Recycling is not done properly. Recycling and at times recycling was stopped because of the, in fact, that they would say that it increases the pollution also. So now the biodiversity was it is it we have seen that it becomes safe haven for novel pathogens. What we see about the biodiversity, because there's imbalance in biodiversity, and so host parasite relations is increasing. And sometimes it may reduce the disease risk, but it is sometimes sometimes the pathogens grow because of the community competence with reference to biodiversity loss, and outbreak of disease risk is always there. We have described it in a way, it was in some previous years, that impact of diversity on new emerging disease is maybe through the amplification effect or through the dilution effect. Because decrease in disease may be through the transmission of infection in higher biodiversity, or sometimes it has been observed that increase in diseases transmission infection is high biodiversity, which is the amplification effect is there, or dilution effect is. In both cases, we see that the emerging diseases come there. That was our, this is our study, what we have done earlier among the emergence diseases and these new emerging diseases. That's where we have shown that rich biodiversity is always beneficial as far as health of ecosystem is concerned, as it shields population being infected with new emerging diseases. But balance in nature is maintained in host-parasite interaction. All the parasites have their specific hosts, and when there is loss in potential hosts of the specific parasites in nature due to the anthropogenic factors, other factors, parasites might switch to unusual hosts like humans, where they can cause huge damage. As I was talking about the certain diseases, what we find in other animals can be carried to the human beings. Though it is early to say whether same is responsible for the outbreak of the COVID-19, we have to focus on more ecological and epidemiological aspects of this virus. So parasitologists have a great task to do, and we should feel concerned about is how biodiversity is affecting our this climate change, how this is affecting and spread of this parasitism. So this is the most apparent effect of the climate change, and emerging disease is the same thing. And we have seen that there is words about, again, if we talk about the malaria and other parasites, which are leishmaniasis, other things. These are because of the poleward shift of the climate change. These are going to those areas where we will not find from plains or lower reaches to higher reaches, and other countries where these diseases were not found earlier. So impact. What these helminth COVID infection? Now, helminth infections are mostly common infectious diseases in underdeveloped countries, as we observe. We have all sorts of infections, and maybe I'm not sure about it. It is for the scientists to see that in India, what we see there are underdeveloped countries. We see many types of infections in humans. Maybe we have developed some immunity towards these infections, and by virtue of that, we can resist this COVID also, until and unless that we have some other diseases which are which cause morbidity in human beings. Otherwise, helminths, otherwise because these suppress the immune processes and they consequently may mitigate in the vaccine efficiency. That is not that will be seen now because the vaccination has started now in the different countries. So it might suppress the efficient immune response against this virus at the early stage of infection and may increase morbidity and mortality. Now it will be seen in next few months what will be the outcome with the helminth co-infection about this COVID. So countries in resources with poor resources and tropical regions may be harder hit by this COVID pandemic. But what we observe about this SARS-2, we have observed that, as I said, that some immunity is there which fights out with this, and many people are saved. Otherwise, I could, if I am correct, they would say that 20 lakh people in India have to die. That has not happened. That was God has saved us that way. Although there are deaths are there, about 2 lakh are there, but not to that extent, which is what we see in US and other countries. It has caused this devastation. When we look to the coronaviruses that are closely related to SARS, to like severe acute respiratory, like SARS, which was found earlier, and the MERS, the Middle East respiratory syndrome viruses, when they have severe presentations, is often involves activation of the pathways that is activated by the parasites. So the pathways are the same for both, whether these are parasitic infections or maybe due to this SARS-CoV virus second. So this is how the amplification we do that can be done here also. Now, control measures, about the control measures, because I have to limit my time. General and we see eradication about these control measures, general perspective control, because new emerging diseases are there. So we have to see eradication of emerging diseases like COVID-19 is a challenge for health authorities due to multiple factors. Even after successful launch of vaccine, delivering vaccine to huge population will be a huge task. Now, I was this morning. I was asking. I was had a phone call that from the U.S. that my son has got the vaccine because a doctor. So it is it has reached the hospitals there, and now it has started. But we don't know when we will get it, and will that will act as safety measure. Eradication programs for new emerging diseases like corona is difficult because of lack of knowledge about the disease pattern. We still don't know where from it has come and where from these come. And until and unless we go to their life cycle to see where from these diseases come, then only the control will be possible. It is essential for the public health authority to seek services of the epidemiologists and the ecologists. So, because before embarking eradicating programs against emerging diseases, so we have very important is to see how these about the epidemiology, about the ecology of the spread, which are the parts of the population they get infected and how they get infected. We need innovative research and systematic monitoring programs to obtain do you say, is it, am I audible? Okay. Is it okay? Is it okay? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay, okay.
Better than 4G.
Okay, sir. to prevent the spread of this COVID-19 fall, that WHO guidelines still we have the same about what we use. जो अमिताभ बच्चन कहता है, तो we have not to repeat that. And this is, I think, what I could gather the information for myself and for you immediately when Professor Sandeep Malhotra called me that you have to deliver a lecture. So it was an order from Sandeep sir.
Okay.
So I have complied to that, and this is sufficient, I think, for me. I cannot extend it more, except for one thing that.
We are very much delighted to see you after a long time.
The same is true about
with
me.
such a smart voice. He keeps on
Thanks
repeating.
Sandeep, that he has brought you here, and I could see your face
Oh,
after so many months.
I have been longing to see the faces of my friends. Believe me.
We were waiting to hear you.
Firstly, I got.
In the morning we have got the day is good,
Firstly, I got trapped in US. Then छुड़ा के आया वहां से, तो फंस गए यहाँ. So it was very difficult to come out of this. I'm not coming out of my home now.
How lovely in the frosting atmosphere you are speaking such nicely.
Is it okay? I don't know. I spoke what I got gathered.
You are an inspiration to youngsters of this country.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your encouragement. It is your encouragement that I could speak today. Thank you so much.
Lovely deliberation also.
Thank you, sir, for this informative and educative lecture.
Yeah, Richa, any questions?
Thanks for
here
bearing
is an
me.
announcement for the valedictory. It would be held at 1:40 p.m. today.
Any questions, Richa, from young persons?
Sir, I couldn't see any question in the chat box.
So you ask them to speak?
Because everybody knows about it.
You people could ask question from sir.
One question is from Rajesh Kumar. Ask him to speak.
Welcome, sir.
Rajesh Kumar, please speak. राजेश कुमार अनम्यूट करें. आपको अनम्यूट किया है राजेश जी, बोलिए.
Yeah, hello. I'm audible?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Well, good morning. I'm Rajesh from Himachal.
Yes.
Sir, talk was really wonderful with a very high and enthusiastic sound. Well, sir, I have a question. How much is the safety with the from the virus, this coronavirus, by using mask? What is the scientific conclusion that whether it can save us to some extent or not from that virus? Use of mask.
Should I answer? Because you see, it is a globally, it has been advised, not me only, WHO, all the scientists, and now Amitabh Bachchan says daily that use mask and you should use distance so that you can save yourself. Keep at least 2 meters apart. And the mask is very important, but it should be the proper mask. What I have learned from scientists is that it should be that N95 proper mask, which can save you. Otherwise, we are using only a simple cloth that is not serving the purpose. If we have to save from this COVID or any virus, we have to use a proper mask. That is N95. That's a must. Please go to that. We are getting N95, but that costs us a few rupees. That's not N95. Go to the proper mask, N95, which may cost a bit more because that is 3-layered mask, and that saves properly. And we have to cover our nose. We have to cover our mouth. That it has been said that it saves 80%. People from the COVID. 80% infection cannot come from even if there is some COVID patient in front of you, you will be saved up to 80%. And only 20% chances are there. And therefore, we have not to go into the gatherings. We have to avoid gatherings and where people are huddled up together, because you don't know whom somebody might be carrying this infection. And so proper mask will save. That is true.
Sir, it's only just 1 second. Sir, it's not only the COVID. The concentrated carbon dioxide which we exhale that may further affect our lungs negatively. Probably that, as a science student, I can understand. I can predict.
Oh, that's true. That's
What
true.
you can say that we can save ourselves from COVID, but probably other diseases may affect us.
But COVID is a disastrous and it takes life. You should at the same time. But morbidity. I have seen in the patients who have suffered from this virus. It takes them months together to get up from the beds because some have to use oxygen for 2 months or even more. Believe me, that maybe if they are having this what you call sugar disease, heart disease, other diseases, it becomes very difficult for them to get up from the bed, and they have to use oxygen for a longer while. And it is a lesser evil, I should say. What we are talking about, the carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, carbon particles, what we are gathering inside, but it can save us from this treacherous disease. That is true.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for
And
your.
it is the environment at the same time. Environment, what the environmental conditions are now because of the control of by governments at different levels. And the water is becoming clear, air is becoming clear, and then our atmosphere is becoming clear. I should say, if I am correct. I don't know about Delhi. You are the best judge about the Delhi and other the states. But about I have seen, what I have observed, what I have learned from different cities, that the water pollution and air pollution becomes much lesser what it was observed earlier. Thank you.
Thank
Any other question? Madam Richa Shukla, is there any other question?
No, sir, I can't get any. If you people have any queries, then you people can type on the chat box.
Shivangi has one, but her mic is off.
Right.
Shivangi, unmute yourself. Shivangi, unmute. Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. सर कि बोला कि मास्क हमारे लिए बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है, ठीक?
क्वेश्चन
सर, क्या आप हमें समझ पा रहे हैं?
यस यस, आप बोलिए.
ओके. तो सर, मास्क साइज, पोर साइज जो होती है वो वायरस से काफी बड़ी होती है, तो वायरस तो इजिली उसके अंदर जा सकता है. फिर ये मास्क कैसे इंपॉर्टेंट हुआ? कोई क्लॉथ का मास्क लगा रहा है, कोई ऐसे ही मास्क लगा रहा है, ये कैसे हमारे लिए यूजफुल हो सकता है? ये वायरस तो बहुत छोटा है, मास्क पोर साइज बहुत बड़ा है.
I was just now talking that it is the proper mask N95, which is 3-layered. That is 3-layered actually, and it has the best protection made.
यार वायरस थोड़ी निकल रहा, वायरस इन ड्रॉपलेट्स.
इसका साइज क्या है शिवांगी?
यस सर, साइज तो सर इतना पता है कि वायरस से बहुत, मतलब सॉरी, पोर साइज से बहुत ही ज्यादा स्मॉल है.
0.1 μm. जब आप साइंस पर हैं तो एक्यूरेट रहिए.
बहुत
बड़ा नहीं होता है ना. आपको बताएंगे थोड़ी देर बाद क्या उसका आरबीसी से कंपैरिजन है, लेकिन 0.1 μm से बड़ा मास्क लीजिए. दैट सॉल्व्स एवरी प्रॉब्लम.
That solves problem.
That is insisting already.
Your N95 is 3-layered and it is well designed for that. But get a proper mask, please.
That solves the issue.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir, for taking the
question.
Thank you,
Kamalodra, for giving the chance. Thanks a lot.
We are honored, sir. We are honored.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So we would like to move ahead to our next speaker of the day, Dr. Nilima R. Kumar. She is retired former professor, Department of Zoology, Punjab University, Chandigarh. She has specialization in the field of applied entomology management and insect physiology. Ma'am has been awarded with Commonwealth Academic Exchange Fellowship, Award of Honor in National Conferences on Global Warming and Biodiversity Concerns, Award of Honor in the 15th National Conference of Biology Teachers, B.N. Pandey Medal Award for Distinguished Research on Application of Honeybee Products, Certificate of Felicitation DST Inspire Internship Program 2019. Ma'am has academic experiences as like research. She is doing research from 1975 till date. Ma'am has publications 174 national and international journals and a number of radio and TV broadcasts and talks. Presently, ma'am is handling the projects of Department of Biotechnology GOI, bee products as antibiotics, and Department of Environment Chandigarh, Hymenopterans venom as antibiotics. Ma'am has international exposures over the universities of Nairobi and Jomo Kenyatta University, Kenya, International Center for Insect Physiology and Ecology, and National Bee Research Institute, Kenya, Forest Research Institute, University Pertanian, and University of Science, Malaysia, Chulalongkorn University, Thailand, FAO and DST, Singapore, ICI MOD, Nepal. The vision of Madam's research is job-led education in zoology for quality human resource development and innovative scientific knowledge, and the sustenance of indigenous knowledge system and R&D programs based on the traditional heritage of community. Today, ma'am is talking about honeybee products, the next generation alternative microbials. I would request ma'am to please proceed further with your lecture. Ma'am, please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Richa, for such an elaborate introduction. This was not required. It is only sufficient to say that I am a teacher by profession and I would like to remain a teacher as long as I live. Thank you so much. Namaskar and my greetings and salutations to the august intelligentsia joining this webinar. The very fact that we are having to meet in a webinar itself tells the whole story of the present pandemic.
डॉक्टर साहब माइक के पास आ जाइए, बहुत धीरे सुनाई दे रही है आवाज.
My greetings and salutations to the august intelligentsia joining this webinar. At the outset, I would like to thank my old friend, Dr. Sandeep Malhotra, and all the organizers for including me in this important event. Thank you very much, sir, for remembering me.
Thank you. Thank you.
The very fact that we are having to meet in a webinar itself tells the whole story of the present pandemic. At the very outset of the current year 2020, the world was gripped by a life-threatening and devastating situation that brought the globe to a standstill because of essential lockdowns and curfews. The reason? A very small microorganism of the size of 0.05 to 2 microns, as your student was just now asking. This is the range of the size of the virus. The situation became so tense that researchers all over the world became busy in trying to understand the action mechanisms of this virus, and they started getting busy in designing the drugs and vaccines to fight this dangerous enemy. I would like to add, honeybee scientists did not lag behind. As it is, the pharmaceutical industry is already seeing an increasing demand for alternative natural remedies to fight diseases in the light of adverse side effects and increasing drug resistance in parasite and pathogens. Honeybees and honeybee products hold great promise in this direction. I, as a honeybee scientist, am of the firm belief that next to man, honeybees are the most wonderful creation of God. There is nothing that a honeybee does, right from the sweet honey that it produces and which we all relish, to the painful sting it inflicts. everything is in one way or the other useful for man. And another interesting thing I would like to tell here is that I consider the honeybee hive as nature's best pharmacy and medicine pitcher, because each and every product of the beehive has human health benefits and also potential medicinal applications. It is in this direction, that is, therapeutic applications of honeybee products, that researchers in our lab are focused and on which I will deliberate today. Let me share my slides to tell you on what I am going to deliberate. My screen is audible? My screen is audible?
Perfect.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect.
So I am going to deliberate on honeybee products, the next generation alternative therapeutics. First, I would like to tell you about some of the important products that the honeybee. Next, we will talk about the application to which the honeybee and the uses that man has found for them. Third issue will be the researches that have been conducted in our lab to validate these therapeutic applications of bee products, and the newer studies that are going on the world over to use honeybee products as antimicrobials in the COVID-19 environment. So taking up first the products which are produced by the honeybees. Some of the important ones are honey, beeswax, pollen, propolis, bee venom, and royal jelly. Each one of these products has important benefits for man, such as it can be used as health foods, can be used in preventive therapy, in curative therapy, ameliorative therapy, as a synergistic sedative, or as a simple. The branch of medicine that deals with the therapeutic application of bee products is known as epitherapy, and this is recently becoming very popular. Coming to the first product, which is honey, I would like to tell you here that it is the only natural food or even medicine that never expires. Honeybees collect it as nectar from flowers, modify it by adding their own secretions, and store it in the comb to be used as their own food and as food for their brood. And what are the applications that man has found with this product? Here are a few examples. It helps to boost energy, reduce muscle fatigue, regulate blood sugar, treat cough, heal wounds and cuts, heal minor burns, insomnia. It is very good for skin, acts as a moisturizer, reduces weight, and improves digestion. Coming to the next one, this is beeswax. Beeswax is produced by the worker honeybees by glands located on the ventral surface of the abdomen. The honeybees use it to construct the comb, and man, particularly the pharmaceutical industry, has found use for beeswax as coating of drugs, pills, capsules, and in ointments. I'm restricting myself to medicinal uses. Coming next to bee pollen. This is another wonderful product of the beehive. Worker honeybees collect it from flowers, bring it to the hive, store it in pollen cells, convert it into bee bread, and this is used as the protein food of the honeybees and of the brood. Pollen is rich in proteins, vitamins, and minerals. That is why today it is finding an increasing market in a world that has become extremely health conscious and fitness conscious. So, bee pollen as a protein source finds great appreciation with bodybuilders, gymnasts, and athletes. What are the other uses to which we can put pollen? Pollen improves fertility both in men and women. It is effective against acne and age spots, helps to stabilize metabolism, boosts resistance to allergies, and it also helps to combat prostate problems in man. Another very important application validated in a lab is that pollen is a very important antioxidant in a world that is becoming extremely aware of the problems of oxidative stress. Pollen is becoming a very useful product. The next one is propolis, which is also called nature's or honeybee penicillin. Bees collect it from plant flows, convert it by adding some amount of beeswax and other secretions into a workable material. And this material the honeybees use to sanitize or sterilize their hives and also to seal cracks and crevices. Another very interesting application of propolis I would like to share with you over here, which will emphasize its antibacterial activity, is that if an enemy enters into the hive of the honeybee, the workers first kill it by stinging. Then, when it is dead, the honeybees are able to drag it and throw it out of the hive. But if the honeybee is large in size, say for example a lizard, then the honeybees cannot drive it out of the hive. What do they do then? They embalm the killed lizard with propolis. They cover it completely with propolis, and in this manner they are able to sanitize their hive. Microorganisms cannot grow on the killed lizard, and they are able to protect the hive from the growth of bacteria and fungi. It is this habit of the honeybees which told man of the potential antimicrobial effect of propolis. The other uses to which propolis can be put are antifungal, antiseptic, immune booster, and natural antibiotic. These are some of the applications to which propolis is today being put in the market. It is used in wound healing, and it is also used to protect injured teeth. It can fight very well the bacteria that grow in the oral cavity. So it is used in toothpastes as an antibiotic to fight bacteria growing in the mouth cavity. The next one is bee venom. We are all afraid of the honeybee sting, but old scriptures say, "He who is stung is the bestowed one." What does this mean? According to ancient people, it was believed that a person पहले सर धो लो और नहा लेना बाद में to a number of other diseases. Honeybee venom is an immune booster. Another important thing, bee venom was used for the treatment of an incurable disease, that is rheumatoid arthritis, long before the present medicine for the treatment of this arthritis were discovered or introduced. So bee venom helps to fight rheumatoid arthritis, cures nerve pain or neuralgia, is useful in muscle sclerosis and even in tendonitis. In future, please don't be afraid of honeybee stings. Honeybee venom is also a medicinal product that is useful for us and helps to boost our immunity. Coming now to the wonderful product of the beehive, which is also royal jelly, is produced by worker honeybees in hypopharyngeal glands located in the head region, and it is used as the exclusive food for the queen honeybee. What happens to the queen bee who receives only royal jelly as food? There are two important benefits it renders to the queen. These are: the queen remains young as long as she lives. That is, she is reproductive and capable of laying eggs throughout her life. The other one is that the age span of the queen bee is longer than that of all other castes, that is, workers and drones. She lives much longer than the drones or workers. So, two important benefits: rejuvenating and anti aging. Don't you think these are two benefits which every living human being would like to have for himself? No wonder then royal jelly is becoming very popular in the market. There are two things that I am reminded of here, which I would like to share with you. The first one is that it was believed that the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth, used to take royal jelly. You can see it in the glamour of her face and in her long age. Gradually, this secret leaked out, and when it leaked out, everybody wanted to have royal jelly. That is why royal jelly became available on a commercial scale, and today you can find it in most good malls in our country and even abroad. If you permit me, there is a joke on royal jelly, which again I would like to share with you over here in a lighter tone. Do I have your permission, Professor Sandeep Malhotra?
Sure, sure. It will be very lively.
Okay. Yeah. Parents थे, काफी old हो गए थे. Their son went to the parents and said, I am now in a position to give you all that you wish. So is there any wish of yours that is remaining pending? Because I can do anything for you now. The parents said, we have had a comfortable life. We have enjoyed almost everything. But there is one thing which we have missed, and that is a trip to the United States of America. If you can finance that for us, we would like to go to the USA. Son said, fine. He booked their tickets for USA. They went to USA.
मेरा क्या मेरा नेट गया यार ये आप लोग कहा था हैं?
Sir, I think ma'am is freeze from her side.
हिट करिए क्या कह रहे बेटा अब क्या करना है
Net problem with ma'am, I think.
डॉक्टर नीलिमा के यहाँ
Yes, sir. Problem is from madam's end.
she has almost completed. Hello.
Yes, sir. I think she must be rejoining. Let's wait a while for her.
Okay. Should we go ahead?
Yes, sir. Right.
Sorry, sir. I don't know why I went off screen for a little while. Can you
please
see me
continue.
now?
जी जी आप फिनिश कर लीजिए. Please continue.
तो मैं बता रही थी कि ट्रेन पहुंच गई, सब पैसेंजर उतरने शुरू हो गए और बेटे ने देखा कि मम्मी पापा तो कहीं नजर ही नहीं आ रहे. Suddenly he saw a very smart lady driving a pram, pulling a pram and coming towards him. She came to him and said, "Beta." Man was very surprised. Said, "Ma'am, who are you and why are you calling me beta?" She said, "I'm your mother." The boy was very surprised. He said, "What happened to you, mom?" Mom said, "In the mall of USA, a shop was selling royal jelly and I consumed excess of it." वो लड़का बड़ा हैरान, कहता और मेरे पापा? कहती ये जो प्रैम में बच्चा है ये आपके पापा हैं, इन्होंने जरूरत से ज्यादा रॉयल जेली खा ली थी।
Very hilarious.
ये है वंडर्स रॉयल जेली के जो हनी बी प्रोड्यूस करती हैं, और किन किन यूजेस के लिए हम रॉयल जेली को यूज कर सकते हैं. यू कैन नाउ सी ऑन द स्क्रीन, which is it aids in weight loss, helps to prevent breast cancer, premature aging of cells, and reduces stress on blood vessels. These are some of the practical applications to which honeybee products have been put. And giving you another few examples, if you add cinnamon and vinegar and lemon to honey, you can use it for treating throat. Lemon ginger is a cold flu remedy. Coming now to the studies which are going on in our lab with respect to bee products, we are studying in vitro and in vivo evaluation of honeybee products such as pollen, propolis, honey, and bee venom for their activity against various types of organisms such as bacteria, fungi, helminths, protozoans, and yeasts. These are some of the highlights of our researches. Curative properties of propolis have been validated against Salmonella typhimurium. Antioxidative potential of propolis against drug and disease-induced stress. Bee propolis has been validated as an antifungal and anti-helminthic agent. Bee venom has been tested for its curative properties in joint pains, and modulatory effects of bee products against adverse side effects of anti-tuberculosis drugs have also been confirmed. अब ये सब झूठे क्लेम नहीं हैं, ये सच हैं. ये दिखाने के लिए एक दो टेबल्स प्रेजेंट करूंगी. I will not take too much of your time. First, antimicrobial activity of ethanolic extract of propolis was tested against gram-positive bacteria, and it was observed that at lower concentrations, propolis was very effective against Bacillus subtilis. At higher concentrations, it was very effective against Staphylococcus cephalosporin. When gram-negative bacteria were tested, it was observed that propolis is very effective in controlling Escherichia coli, both at low and high concentrations. Another very interesting study was carried out. Briefly, I will tell about that. This was in vitro antibacterial efficacy of propolis against Salmonella typhimurium. Ethanolic extract of propolis was found to be best on the basis of MIC and MBC. We then made 3 types of studies: preventive study, monotherapy, and combination therapy. In monotherapy, propolis was used at 3 different concentrations: 100, 300, and 500. Activity was compared with standard drug cefixime. As you can see, the results for serum parameters shown in this histogram. Propolis at all 3 concentrations was almost equally effective as cefixime in bringing the disturbed parameters to near normal. So efficacy of propolis as a treatment against Salmonella typhimurium was confirmed in monotherapy. Then we wanted to check what type of behavior does propolis show in combination. So we made 2 tests, FIC indices and time kill assay. On the basis of these 2 studies, we confirmed that propolis has synergic activity. So we made a combination study. Combination study was made with 4 groups. CP1, in which the standard drug cefixime was given at the rate of 3 milligram and propolis at 225 milligram per kilogram body weight. CP2, cefixime 3 milligram and propolis 150 milligram per kilogram body weight. CP3, cefixime 2 milligram and propolis 225 milligram per kilogram body weight. And CP4, cefixime 2 milligram and propolis 150 milligram per body weight. Best results were obtained in the group CP1, that is 3 milligram cefixime and 225 milligram propolis. So these studies highlighted and confirmed the role of propolis as an antimicrobial agent or as an antibacterial agent. Coming now to coronavirus and the scope of these products. If propolis is antimicrobial, if propolis is antibacterial, scientists all over the world got busy in testing these products to fight coronavirus. I will quote one study made by a scientist and published in Eurasian Journal to emphasize this point. The unprecedented attack of coronavirus motivated researchers to study the crystal structure of the main protease M-Pro, which is the essential enzyme of coronavirus. And this was the target for inhibition for all drug discovery studies. What happened next? 6 ligands were prepared from honeybee products. These ligands were phenyl lactic acid, caffeic acid phenyl ester, lumichrome, galangan, chrysin, and caffeic acid. A very advanced technique, which is known as molecular docking, was used to test the efficacy of these products by a software known as Schrödinger-Mestro software V10.1. And see the interesting results which this scientist has obtained. Docking results for ligands 1 to 6 obtained from propolis with COVID-19 main protease M-Pro. These are the details of the potential energy, docking energy, glide score, and RMSD values. These indicated that 3 of the products, 2, 4, and 6, they showed very good binding with the main protein of the coronavirus. This is a picture depicting the binding of the coronavirus main protease M-Pro shown in the center with the 6 ligands obtained from honeybee propolis. The red area shows very good binding, blue shows mild, and gray shows hydrophobic nature. So we can see that all the 6 ligands which were isolated from propolis by Dr. Hashim, published recently in 2020 in the Eurasian Journal of Medicine. These showed very good binding results for the coronavirus protein, that is M-Pro. This is the detail of what you saw in the slide. So with these results, I will come to the conclusion. In silico studies show that honeybee products can prove to be promising candidates for treatment of COVID-19 and deserve elaborate evaluation at preclinical and clinical levels. Additionally, bee products can be modified. As we saw, they can act synergistically. We saw in case of Salmonella typhimurium that propolis is synergistic with cefixime. So they can be modified. And in combination with commercial antiviral drugs and may create novel SARS-CoV-2 formulations with enhanced antiviral activity and lesser side effects. Let us hope for the success of this alternative therapy as potential antimicrobial in the new year. In the end, मैं ये तो नहीं कह सकती टेलीविजन एडवर्टाइजमेंट्स की तरह कि बी प्रोडक्ट्स को इस्तेमाल करो and they will give you 99.9% security from bacteria and coronavirus. But I can definitely say one thing, that Mother Nature has the answer to all our problems. It is our duty not to play with nature, to conserve nature and to respect her. So let us end with the prayer that, Lord, we are in the last few weeks of 2020. Please keep my family and friends safe and hopeful. May 2021 be a year of healing and peace. Thank you very much and a happy new year to all. Thank you, Dr. Saab.
Thank you. देखिए आपके लिए क्वेश्चन है राकेश जी. Speak up, Rajesh.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, may I read the question, sir?
Sure.
इन्हें पूछने दीजिए, राजेश को पूछने दीजिए. Are you on mic?
Yeah, I am here, sir. I'm audible.
Go ahead. Yes.
Okay, ma'am, good noon. It's Rajesh. I have had your talk in HRDC HPU Shimla in 2018. So nice to listen to you again after 2 years. Madam, there's a question that doctors earlier the honey is because it is considered as amrit and is given to neonatals as first drop of food. But these days, doctors they suggest to avoid giving honey to the neonatals up to even age of 1 year. So, what do you think? Should it be given or not to the neonatals? Honey.
Mr. Rajesh, please introduce yourself first.
Nilima ma'am, I'm Rajesh. I'm PhD in zoology with Professor O.P. Agrawal sir and Professor Asi Misra sir long back in 2012. I completed from Gwalior, and right now I'm working here in a state private university, Career Point University, Hamirpur, Himachal Pradesh. And आपको HRDC HPU शिमला में सुना था हमने 2018 में, if you remember, in the month of September 2018. So I'm working on bees here also. I'm having 2 major projects on honey bees and beekeeping, and Professor Mattu sir is also keeps on advising me on all these aspects. So that's all. I'm a student of yours and science.
हाँ जी, तो आप अपना क्वेश्चन बताइए.
हाँ जी, मैडम क्वेश्चन ये है कि honey, because it is considered as amrit and since time immemorial it is given to neonatals as first drop of food. But doctors these days they don't advise. They says that probably it should be avoid to given honey to the neonatals to even age of 1 year. 1 साल तक नहीं देना चाहिए. So what do you think, ma'am? Should it be given or not to the neonatals?
Rajesh ji, you also belong to Himachal. I also belong to Himachal. And you know that Himachal has a very rich tradition of using natural products for the treatment of a number of diseases. We cannot ignore the traditional knowledge base of our ancestors. Whatever they said or whatever they practiced is again being picked up by our scientists today. जो बातें हमें पहले करने के लिए मना किया जाने लगा था, अब हम दोबारा नेचर की तरफ चल पड़े हैं अपनी हर प्रॉब्लम का इलाज ढूंढने के लिए. तो I cannot say that it is bad to be given to neonatals as we have been doing for centuries, for a very long time. And the first gutti that is given to a newborn is chatana from honey. I don't think that is bad. And there are so many things. I'm sure a day will come when we will come to know what are the medicinal benefits of giving this gutti to the neonatals very soon. So please do not go exactly by what science says. Nature has its own remedies and its own way of treating our problems. She has the answer for everything. And natural products are without adverse side effects, that is sure.
Hello.
Any
Hello.
other question?
Yeah, I'm Neelam Mattu. Yeah.
Namaskar.
Namaskar. Heartiest congratulations for such a informative lecture, as we all belong to the same family of apiculturists. Research being on bees, beekeeping, honey plants from the Himachal Pradesh. I would just like to glorify your lecture. Like you said that bees are such a wonderful gifts of God. Really, we are so thankful to God that we are gifted with such gifts that 1 in 3 bites of food we eat that comes directly from the honeybees pollination services. And the bees, they work on the principle of Gita. Karmande vadika raste ma phaleshu kadachana. We have right to actions, but not to the fruits of actions. So we, the bees, we make honey, but for others. And working for whole of the day, the message is given that hard work is the key to success. Udyamena hi siddhanti karyane na manorthai nahi suptasya sihasya pravishati mukhe mriga. And one thing more, please, like you have told so many benefits of honey, I would like to add here that 200 grams of honey is as nutritional as 1 liter of milk or 1.5 liters of cream cheese or 340 grams of boneless meat or 10 eggs or 10 oranges. So see the value of the natural product, the first known sweetener on this earth. So we must use these wonderful products for our immunity.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay.
Out of time.
Thank you.
Yes, so probably we are running out of time. So coming to our next speaker, Professor Sandeep Malhotra, and to this platform, I think proudly say that who doesn't know him. So speaking about the intro of Professor Malhotra, sir has been HOD and ex-professor of from the Department of Zoology, University of Allahabad, and sir has working experience in the University of Garhwal Constituent College as HOD and former professor as well as HOD and former professor from the Department of Zoology, University of Allahabad. Sir has published more than 233 research papers in the national and international journals, and sir has a glorious patent for collection of honeybee toxins. So I don't think I could add more to the sir's intro, and I would directly request sir to come and deliver his lecture. Is it stable, sir?
चलेगा ये
जी
क्या बंद है सब कुछ बंद है
बस कुछ चले
अभी रही आवाज
हाँ ये सर
एक मिनट रुक जाओ स्लाइड ट्रे कहाँ है स्लाइड कैसे शिफ्ट करेंगे
इधर से
रुक जाओ टाइम ले रहा है Hello, good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
इनको म्यूट किया हुआ है क्या?
Now you are audible, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible now.
Do you hear me?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
ये ना लगाइए ये कहाँ लगा इसमें
क्या करना है
ये इसमें इसका हटा दीजिए सर ये
तो बोलिए ना भी कहते उसको लगा लीजिए audible
yeah you are audible
yes बोल ही नहीं रहा आपने यहाँ से जो हटाया है वो दिख मुझे ही नहीं रहा है बोलिए हेलो
जी ठीक है यस सर
हाँ स्लो आ रही है आवाज
सर
सुन
जी
पा रहे हैं सर हम आपको
Right, sir. There was a trouble from this end.
Okay.
So I begin my talk with why parasites have struggled in COVID-19 environment. Quite unusual. But as Professor Neelima told us yesterday, and this morning, Professor Chishti told us, they were in trouble. They were not flourishing. I wish to switch this statement a bit forward. And this is our Union HRD Minister. I focus on sustainable development. This is what our requirement was even during COVID, and we struggle. Why parasites have struggled in COVID-19? इतना स्लो चल रहा है दो चला रखे हैं क्या आपने
हेडफोन बंद कर दीजिए
that is what I'm saying. There are two phones talking here. वीडियो ऑफ कीजिए अरे उनको आप म्यूट करके क्या करेंगे माइक हमारा ऑन
चल रहा है सर
वो पीछे चल रहा है डबल माइक है ये तो तुम्हें समझ में नहीं आ रहा है पता नहीं ये विंडो आई कहाँ से हेलो Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Ji. We have done it. So our concept was that we have to struggle through it, but the new ideas have to be encouraged. And those new ideas, we do not wait for every time a senior scientist, knowledgeable one only to come and tell us. We came into the business of promoting children. And this was during COVID times when we promoted our children in so many ways. Our Prime Minister Modi came up with the idea of drug designing. And this drug designing was with the idea that in future too, such type of pandemics will take over and ultimately we will have to fight them without vaccines. But now, if we require a vaccine, so much time is required that our population would be in trouble, torrid times. Now we have an idea that even a new beginner can come up with any special thing, any small thing which is ignored over the years. Like you saw yesterday, there was children's efforts and innovative ideas could take a better shape. So those were the points when we focused that our environment is slightly improving. Two mics. This actually helped us to resolve the issue that whenever their air is under trouble, our air quality has to be managed on some account. We have to focus on smaller things, but ultimately we got down to the business of closing down our refineries, our industries, and the effluents stopped flowing into the rivers. So the freshwater supply, which was available, indeed very well improved. And under this environment, when air was improved, water quality improved, these were the smaller things that helped us. That look, Shivangi, if you are here, I have given you
Yes, sir.
virus against all the different things.
Okay,
Yeah.
sir.
You remember our Prime Minister Modi gave us SAFA to fold it 3 or 4 times over our mouth and even twice. So the 0.1 μm size of coronavirus would be taken care of. Look, the bacteria has 0.5 μm size. PM2.5, the pollution gradient, 2.5 μm for the size to virus. RBC has 7 μm and the largest is PM. So the greater the pollution, the greater is the possibility that virus will take us off. And regarding masks and other things, you have to take care that this kind of size difference can be taken care of by simple, ordinary SAFA than your PM, what do you call, N95 mask and other things. So that is the basic study that was conducted by our Prime Minister and without any much of technical knowledge. So what happened was the global lockdown in progress was there and the internet was abounded with articles and social media outlets with pictures showing the planet being the unlikely beneficiary of the COVID-19 pandemic. Quite unusual to hear, but we were actually the beneficiaries in several ways to COVID-19 pandemics. Nature seems to have hit the reset button and the things were healing themselves up as the anthropogenics have slowed down. Amidst all the gloom and doom that the COVID pandemic is giving, there seems to be proven silver lining and some positive consequences. What happened to parasites under these? Look at the temperature effect and our carbon dioxide emission that was controlled because of industry closure, challenges to fight the climate change, and the mandatory lockdown recorded up to 5-degree reduction in temperature. The basics of our parasitology tell us that the temperature going up, even up to 28 degrees, 32 degrees, they support the enhancement of infection degrees. So when the temperature goes down, you remember Pacifics and America, 4-degree temperature, and the maximum was the pandemic effect. The animals and these human beings were being killed. With the reduction in temperature, virus showed its increased activity, but at the same time, the parasites got advantage of rising temperature in our country, and added to this was humidity effect as well. So what we had in hand was lockdown imposed, stone crushing, stone quarrying stopped, impact analysis was under survey, scrutiny, Lancet data by the USGS field data, impact on LST, impact on noise ambience, impact on water quality, impact on air quality, and these were the things that we were monitoring. So wonderful was the aspect that look what they have innovated. इसलिए कहा जाता है कि मत छेड़िए उस सिस्टम को जिस पे मुझे बोलना है। Hell has been created. 2 वॉइसेस आ रही हैं, वॉइस चल नहीं रहा, साउंड उनको जा रही है, मुझे पता ही नहीं लगा कि मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ, क्योंकि दोनों इको है। और इस विंडो को मैं यहाँ से हटाना चाह रहा हूँ, वो यहाँ चिपक गई। रुकिए, अब मत बीच हाथ मारिए। मेरे स्लाइड्स में डिस्टर्बेंस है, मैं पढ़ ही नहीं पा रहा हूँ बिकॉज ऑफ चौड़ा विंडो। ये सब चीजें पहले बता दो तो आई वुड हैव बीन प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर ऑल दिस न्यूसेंस। बैठ जाइए, टेक अ सीट। देखिए भाभी, चलाओ उसको। अरे चलाओ उसको। Neck deep in water, and they are still driving. So this was the innovation.
तो उसकी बड़ी उन्होंने कोशिश कर दी है। उन्होंने पूरे दौरे का प्रोफाइल बनाया, तरीके से लगातार उनकी कवरेज हुई और उन जगहों को छुए हैं जो बिल्कुल हर बंगाली को छूने चाहिए।
इसमें 2 विंडोज चल रही है, मैं बोल के हटता हूँ, मेरी आवाज दोबारा शुरू होती है आफ्टर 5 मिनट्स। आफ्टर 5 मिनट्स इको नहीं है।
सवाल यह है कि आप जवाब दे रहे हैं, आपको काम करना है क्योंकि आप विपक्ष, तो उसमें एक जो बड़ी बात जो करते हैं, तो पहली बात जवाब दिखाई दे रहे हैं कि आप बाहर, तो आपने
So this was the pool for fishing activity. You could find innovative ideas of children to have crossed neck deep. Now, what happened to the fisheries and parasites under these conditions? With the closure of industries, trade of non-essential items, transportation networks and companies, and drastic declines in environmental pollution due to COVID conditions, a low temperature, as I discussed, moderate daytime temperature range, and low humidity that would favor the transmission of the virus. And imagine transmission of virus is increased by low temperature and other things, and parasites are increased. But what happened was actually infections in fishes at Allahabad were only these 5. All the others gone for good, and we have been surveying them for the past 9 months. When the DO was up to 9 or 12, it was entirely negative. Slowly but surely, black spot disease started appearing in Pangasius in River Ganges. Gangesia is the cystode that occurred. Rostless caris is the common one that was an invasive species from Arabian Sea. It is flourishing. Lipo, the trematode, and Paracamelanus tridenti, the nematode. So these are the things left now under the pandemic. Everything else vanished. The question is, this is a very good condition. Like we said that we have gained from pandemic as far as the parasitic conditions are concerned. But similarly, the pools and the fishes are in trouble. As I told you that 28 to 30 degrees Celsius maximum is beneficial for parasites. Coronavirus maximum occurred at lower temperature. So this was entirely anti both of these. The critical point, however, was the reach at to the attainment of optimum relative humidity. What happened after lockdown and what was before, during it, 17 October 19, and after that. You can see the difference at India Gate. Actually, the things were appearing very nice, and these are the parasites which are now remaining. We are studying this. This has traveled down from saline water conditions, Rostless caris, up to River Ganges, and now it is being found in our catfishes at Allahabad. Chylostoma on the right-hand side is very natural. You find them very in the old books, and this is very similar to that. But ankylostoma is the worm of human beings. Rostless caris occurs in fishes. This is ankylostoma, the middle of body showing vulva and the posterior end. This is the Rostless caris under electron microscopic analysis. And you can see how dreadful is the parasite, which is found in Arabian Sea fishes as well as Gangetic waters. The anisakid variety, which with last evening, the kind of things which are present here is really dangerous because dolphin passes on these parasites to freshwater fishes. These were now never occurring in the fresh waters, but now we find these at Allahabad. So these are the differences in the worm appearances and the complexity COVID-19 vector, which you heard so many times have traveled from bats to human beings. This outbreak reduction of pollution has resulted. Self-generation plan of nature now commences because we had low pollution conditions earlier, and now suddenly the things are taking up again on the negative side. So there are the remedies. Biofuel from algae to boost India's clean energy effort, again making environment clean, with India exploring and using different clean energy alternatives to lower its carbon footprints. Biofuel from algae of marine origin could be one of the low emission solutions in the country in near future. Indian scientists under the INSPIRE program of Ministry of Science and Technology have developed low-cost biodiesel from microalgae. Better fisheries efforts, Government of India has proposed, and to make India Atmanirbhar, every effort would be valuable, and this will be too short compared to what we need. So this is vermiform, vermiculture, fish disease disappearances would benefit us. And these are the ponds in which the giant freshwater prawn we have started. These are the things under the edible varieties of organisms. This is giant freshwater prawn. So we are actually gaining if we exploit this situation. People of fisheries would understand intensive fish culture, and the Pangasius farms, farm culture. This is, इसको mute करिए.
मैंने उधर बहुत चक्रा किया. हाँ, मैंने उधर अपना देखा, चाय पी और खजूर खाया. मुझे which bus में पड़ेगा? Grandfather, grandmother, aunt पढ़ाया. Family पढ़ाई, my family. Daddy, aunt.
Participants, please mute yourself.
देखिए मैं बोले जा रहा हूँ, पीछे से मेरा लेक्चर जारी है.
सर, उससे कोई मतलब नहीं.
वो बच्चा फिर भी बोल रहा है. Hello, am I audible? Can I continue?
Sir, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Very clear.
Okay. So this is the virus which was seen under electron microscope. So many different things. Sorry for the disturbances quite off and on. And next slide नहीं जा रहा हूँ.
You are audible, sir.
आपने अलग-अलग शेप में कई तरह से देखा. This is lungs where it is getting blocked. A complexity of environmental issues through which coronavirus gets transmitted and how we are trying to develop it. Recreation, grey water, sewage production, and aquifers are the last thing which we want to inculcate. This is the lady who prepared my lab's R&D chief that prepared the diagnostic kit for us. Even on the day of pregnancy, she was working at the lab. And these are the efforts on improving water quality, efficient feeds, genetics, and health that have to help us. This is the culture of fish that can continue with giant freshwater prawn. And clean efforts could help us growing birds, the ducks, and scampi all together in the freshwater ponds. These are natural feed preparation for giant freshwater prawn. So all these efforts in clean environment could help us pass through the negative effects of pandemic, which is in fact giving us advantage of growing food. And this is intensive fish culture. Yes, Pangasius is from here, but intensive culture has given us the disadvantage of disease spread by the black spot trematode. And these are the things which can be avoided, of course. But the control would require the removal of intermediate hosts that are snails under pond conditions. And that is the challenge before us that we continue. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your lecture. And I could say we are open here for taking the questions. Please ask if you have any.
Richa, please continue.
Yes, sir, right. So moving ahead quickly, coming to our final speaker of the day, Mrs. Seema Pant. Recently, ma'am has been promoted as principal of her school for her experiences and sincere working with high integrity in Valley Bank High International School, Kent, Kanpur. Ma'am has also worked with DPS Kalyanpur, Kanpur. In the field of science, madam's contribution includes she has established science club, started science quiz, organized a visit to IIT Kanpur Agricultural Department, trained national science and mathematics Olympiad students, and many more. Now I would like to request to ma'am, please come up with the lecture. Ma'am, please unmute yourself.
मेरी आवाज जाएगी? Yes, Seema.
Good afternoon. And basically, just telling myself that I am a very passionate person about teaching and reaching out to the students and the bond that I share with them. So today I will be uh, discussing about the effects of industrial influence on the natural water. So basically, Kanpur being an industrial hub and the tanneries and supplying the leather products all over the world. So basically, if we talk about Kanpur, this Ganga Action Plan, and I have attended workshops on this. So what I feel is the crores and crores of rupees have been spent so far, and Mr. Jaiswal is heading the team. But the scenario is, I think, getting all the more worse because water is so much polluted, and so this is because of the tannery people or the industries not having the treatment plant. So saving money in terms of this, that basically not getting the effluents treated before discharging them. So as I'm in contact with so many people here, and they own their tanneries, so if they we talk about our responsibility towards it. Am I audible? Sir?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible. Please go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So basically, in where I stay, that city itself is adding to so much of pollution, and because most of them cater to the needs of this to China. So now, since their products are not being sent, so obviously business has come down due to COVID and everybody suffering. So now I will just go ahead with my this topic, that the effect of industrial uh, influence on the water body. So if they are being a hub now, in order to access the surface water quality, uh, a total of 42 surface water samples were collected in pre-monsoon and post-monsoon season. And there is so much of chemicals like the product, the areas that were analyzed were electrical conductivity, pH, total dissolved solids, sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and the chlorine and sulfate. The chemical classification of surface water has been studied using LL-gram and surface water of both the seasons belonging to sodium calcium sulfate type. And the results show that surface water is affected by industrial effluents which have highly concentration of DOD, COD, sodium, calcium, magnesium, potassium, chlorine, sulfate, and uh, HCO2. However, the key years of studies show that the surface water pollution in this because of the industrial development has significantly increased, and due to the fact that emission of effluents are not being treated regularly. So this is what I also talk about, that in Kanpur itself, uh, the surface water is basically becoming polluted day by day, more polluted. So surface water is usually rainwater that collects in surface water bodies like oceans, lakes, or streams, and surface water can become contaminated in many ways. One of which is direct discharge can come from the industry sources. This is the major source of worry, that instead of earning so much from their industries, these people have so much of money. So just being a conscious citizen of India and seeing that what are we handing over the earth, the environment to our coming generations, they must make an effort and feel conscious about it, that what we are doing to earth is really uh, too much of burden. Otherwise, nature keeps recycling itself and it mends itself. As far as I know, that like for the ozone layer depletion, now I've heard that I've read that that hole is being mended. So the nature can do little to mend itself, but when it becomes beyond limit, then that thing will become difficult. So a change in the water chemistry due to surface water contamination can negatively affect all levels of an ecosystem. It can impact the health of lower food chain organisms, and consequently the contaminated surface water can also affect the health of animals and humans. This is what is happening. The vegetable that grows in Kanpur near Kansas or some areas, this water that they are irrigating their crops with, and every day, like if we talk about few mgs of uh, uh, strong, heavy chemicals like lead and all, and those who are non-vegetarian eating fish. So basically, this fish being grown in such waters and being consumed at such large scale. So cadmium, mercury, lead, everything is getting into the body. So it can impact the health of lower food chain organisms, and consequently the contaminated surface water can affect the health of animals and humans when they drink or bathe in contaminated water. So many idols being immersed, like now the Ganpati Puja used to be of Maharashtra. Every house is having an idol, and when they have been told not to put it in streams, but when they dig a patch of land and they hundreds and thousands of idols being just dumped there, and then through the seepage, all the chemicals, paints, heavy lead, and colors that are being dyes that are being introduced to waters, and then the same is coming into our body when we are eating those whatever grows in water or whatever irrigation that water is being used in, and the fish and basically all levels of ecosystem are being negatively affected. So it's a very serious matter, and each and every one as a responsible citizen must think that what are we doing? It's just a cycle and vicious cycle, and everything is coming back to us. So, degradation of water quality or depletion of water resources and loss of aquatic biodiversity are prominent features of the environmental sediments. Degradation of water quality, in a sense that the same water, when it is coming through supply to our homes, then again we ensure that just the cleanliness, but we don't know the chemistry of that water that is being supplied at home. And no doubt we are having it other than this boring that we have at every house. So the water table also is equally getting the water from within the that is pumped to the tanks is also again the chemistry we are not sure of. So the influence of industries have a great deal of influence on the and it requires urgent attention at global and national level. The influence of industries have a great deal of influence on the pollution of the water bodies, and these influence can alter the physical, chemical, and biological nature of receiving water bodies. So, in the present study area, there are about 400 large and small industries. So, these are the case studies from place to place. So, the scenario is almost the same everywhere. So this and since 1977, they have been engaged in with the manufacture, production, and processing of pharmaceuticals, paints, pigment, mental treatment, and steroids, cotton and synthetic yarn, and engineering products. Most of them are various inorganic and organic chemicals as raw materials, and these industries discharging their waste influence directly into the stream. So the just not sticking to one place. This is the seen everywhere. Sampling is done in order to be specific about that particular area and the type of industry that is running in that area. Basically, this intensity of this sodium and potassium. So flame emission photometry has been used for the determination of sodium and potassium. And this method, water sample is atomized and sprayed into boiler. And then we reach to various results. So the analytical data of successive pre and post monsoon seasons are for surface water sample corresponding to, like the years are mentioned. I will not go into the details of the table. So if each one of us, we must worry and feel responsible as responsible citizens, and the government should take stringent steps to check at all levels. Basically, corruption is also a part of it. The tanners are just filling their pockets, and everywhere it is happening, and they let go the rules that are being made for them to be followed. So the Physiochemical attributes of the surface water, the properties of surface water of the area under study in terms of fundamental parameters such as pH, total dissolved solids, electrical conductivity, COD, and BOD. So the pH values are measured and then the surface water thus is mildly acidic to slightly alkaline in nature because of the effluent. And electrical conductivity, seasonal variations show higher values of electrical conductivity in pre-monsoon time and lower value of post-monsoon due to dilution by river water. And the values obtained were very much higher than the permissible level. That is the problem. If it is under permissible level then it's fine, like body can do away with and excrete all this, filter all this. But when the values obtained are very much higher than the permissible limits and the conductivity was recorded in different seasons, varying from just to talk in the number 17 to a maximum of 33 in pre-monsoon, and then the minimum of 14.9 to a maximum of 29 in post-monsoon. And now we come to total dissolved solids, that's TDS. In water, total dissolved solids are composed mainly because of carbonates, bicarbonates, chlorides, phosphates, and nitrates of calcium, magnesium, and sodium, potassium, magnesium, and organic matter, salt, and other factors. So at high flows, the TDS values tend to be diluted by surface runoff, and for the most rivers, there is an inverse correlation between discharge rate and the TDS. As expected, the maximum total dissolved solids were observed during the pre-monsoon season, and it is ranging to, imagine, 21,600 mg per liter. So it is disastrous. And then the post-monsoon, that is 18,900 mg per liter. This is due to dilution factor during the rainy season. And high level of TDS during pre-monsoon season is more likely due to influence of industrial activity, basically as such as effluents added to the surface water. And not only surface water, but also the soil which is adjoining these areas is highly, it is having such high levels of these chemicals, and which are being going along with the water as dissolved salts into the vegetables and fruits and whatever is growing there, and then reaching our body and damaging it. So it is actually a cause of worry and a serious matter of concern. So many diseases and so many problems that the young generation is suffering because of not having good air to breathe in and good pure food to eat. Whatever is being sold as organic, you never know how much it fits into the parameters of organic food. But the people are paying double, triple the amount of money to buy organic items uh, without knowing actually how much this truth is there in they being organic. So, waters with high total dissolved solids are unpalatable and potentially unhealthy. Now we come to COD and POD. COD pointing to degradation of water quality caused by the discharge of industrial effluents. The COD in the surface water ranges from 3,100 to 27,000 milligram per liter. Imagine the range is 3,100 to 27,000 mg per liter in pre-monsoon, and from 1,450 to 14,500 milligram per liter in post-monsoon. High BOD level indicates decline of DO because the oxygen that is available in the water is being consumed by bacteria, leading to the inability of fish and other organisms to survive in the river. So often on there is news in Kanpur and elsewhere also that thousands of fishes were lying dead on the shore, and then those who want to get profit out of them, they sell those fishes also. God knows what chemicals. I mean, the fish eaters must think of something. The fisheries, they must get the fish from such an area where they are very safe to eat, because cadmium, lead, mercury, all these are so hazardous for our health. So can make out what are we having, what are we eating, and what type of water is being consumed by us, and what is the future. Because of the growing population, growing industries, and their attitude, industry's attitude towards not being a responsible citizen. And it has to come from within. What will the government tell them to be? These are the moral values that are ingrained from right from childhood, that whatever we do has to be right for us, for our surroundings, for our nation. So these are all lacking now. As a teacher, I can say that we initially used to have a moral science book. Now the curriculum doesn't have moral book also, moral science book. And that book, through that book, there used to be a period, and we used to take up these moral values right from childhood, which are totally missing. And parents also from different class have no time to look into all this, and busy earning money and spending and leading a leisure life. So now we come to the next slide, temporal variation trends to major ions in surface water. Data of concentration of major ions of pre and post monsoon. Pre and post monsoon 2009 and 1010, and the concentration values of all the samples are discussed, but we will not go into details. And this conclusion is that surface water has the highest concentration of cations and anions, and surface water is affected by industrial effluents which have high concentration of sodium, calcium, magnesium, potassium, chlorine, sulfate, and bicarbonate. And these parameters in more than desirable limit, which could be the result of direct dumping of effluents into the water body, and the industrial effluents are let into stream directly during rainy season. I myself have seen the Ganges becoming nala at some places, like when the workshops are conducted. So 3-4 days consecutively, the organizers take us to Gola Ghat, to Sarjaya Ghat, and Rani Ghat, and such places where thereby the tanneries are located. And absolutely dark black color, thick water that we can see directly being poured into the Ganges. So the industrial effluents are let into the stream directly during rainy season, thus leading to accumulation of elements in surface water, which together with rainwater flow down to the rivers and streams and join the major drainage system. And these water is in due to force percolate down to join groundwater reservoir. And the effect of industrial pollution thus can be seen in the adjoining areas. The 3 years of study, this is a case study, so which shows that the no reduction in surface water pollution may be due to rainfall. So basically, uh, if there is some improvement in the quality, then that may be because of the shutdown of industries. All the tanners are in big trouble because now they can't. They used to get most of the orders from China, so no business. That is why all their money is being diverted, and they are opening up schools. That's another issue. But basically, we must start worrying if not, and nothing is impossible. So even if the day it starts, the Jago to Savera, so a platform should be made where they are being connected, and then they are being monitored. It's for their good, their children, and for others also. Each and every citizen and every life is important. So then I would like to just take a leap. That's what I have said enough. And if there are any questions that I can answer.
Thank you, Sima. Yes, Richa. मुझे तो आवाज ही नहीं आती. Richa, unmute.
Okay. So I would like to repeat my announcement again that we would be meeting at 1:40 p.m. today, right at 1:40 for the valedictory session. Till then, we can take an off.
So see yourselves again at 1:40. Take a small break that we prepare for valedictory. Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye for now.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.